this is a piece of a song.
Yes.
And you rap while you're doing this.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll give you a little bit of it. So
okay, please, yeah.
Some people are born to lead and others are born to follow. Some people are born to spit it, others are born to swallow. Some are born to make the rules, others are born to break it. Some people are born to dish it, others are born to take it. I was born to make this better, whenever, however, never will I. Let them take me, let them make me, cause I know it's a lie. I'm a rebel when I'm writing, say we monsters inside. If you look into my eyes, what you see, the strongest weapon, me and the booze, spitting the truth. The trouble you to fall in the need of a parachute. All you wanna loot, pollute the fruit and execute anybody if they cause a dispute. Well, screw you, rebel, won't you put it to this metal, baby? I ain't no other who could bring it on this level, baby. I go to war every day with the devil, baby, cause I'm a rebel, baby. I'm a rebel, baby. Yeah. So
yeah, you are. Oh, damn. Okay, all right. So can you show me? Can you just play that in slow motion and just show me the mechanics of what you're doing with your hands? I heard the bass line is
yeah,
and you're tapping those notes with your left hand. So the right hand's not striking those notes.
No,
right.
It's all left hand doing that. So first you got to get your left hand strong enough to do that. You know what I mean? That's always fun when you can. When you're at the bar and you're at a club and you're on stage and you're playing with your left hand and you go grab a drink and drink something on stage with your right, and you're still playing the groove. Everybody loves. There
was one time I forget what song we were doing, but someone made me a bet like, "Hey, I'll buy you a drink if you can drink and play the entire song right now." I was like, "Okay." Okay. It was like Sweet Home Alabama. So I was like, "Yeah, piece of cake." I just sat there drinking the pitcher the whole time. Like, you just lost your money, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got that. That's easy.
That's a good bar trick. Works every time.
Every time. So getting that left hand strong to be able to hammer. So it's basically, the technique is hammer, thumb, pluck. And then I do like a little triplet at the end, usually. Or I'll go. And that's a hammer, thumb, pluck, like hammer, thumb down, then bring back up, and then pluck with your two fingers.
So you got to be able to double thump, go in two directions with the thumb, and you've got to be able to do that flam trick with your two plucks.
Yep.
So that's just down, pluck, pluck.
Perfect. And doing it fast,
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lick is we got this happening, right? And we add.
Yeah.
So that's the main groove of it.
That's the main groove.
Okay. Okay, yeah, all right, now I need to add that part in there. So where does that go?
Okay, so this goes at the end. Yeah, at the end.
All right, so one thing also, your pinky, or this E right here.
Yeah,
that one stays down the whole time, because I wanted to like lift it up and hit it twice, but that'll throw it off with the
that'll throw it off, so you have to hold it down.
Yeah, okay.
Because you want that's the note you want to ring out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try it one more time. Ah. Ah.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
All right, I can do that better. Yeah, that triple part throws me off. You can do that one.
So when you hit that, you want that E to ring out.
Right. Now I'm interested right here because you're changing your slap technique. You're coming at it this way, but then when you do obviously the double thumb, you change it and go to that direction.
Wow, that's interesting.
Right?
I never even thought about that.
Well, so I mean, which way? Like if you're just gonna slap, if you're just gonna play a slap line, so you do the coming at it from the top. Right? So you only pass through the string when you're gonna do it a double, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess so, huh? I never thought about that.
Well, so that's the way I always slap. You know, the coming and attacking that way. But then obviously, I was introduced to Victor Wooten.
Yeah.
In the same way that you were at some point, right? And I was just like, oh shit, I like doing that too. So I totally revamped my slap technique to. So now I always slap that way, but I don't do the double thump. I pretty much never double thump, but I still attack it that way. I don't really know why.
You know what? I think a lot of it has to do, for me, when I first started learning how to thump, I was watching everybody. Lewis Johnson.
Larry Graham.
Larry Graham.
For me, it was Flea. He was the first one I saw do that. And so I was like, okay, that's how I do it.
So because he approaches it like this.
Yeah.
I guess.
Marcus, he's got the.
Yeah, Marcus has this.
Yeah.
Oh, Marcus. Fucking wrist. He's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Lewis Johnson, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He had that whole, he had the angle like this. And I guess Vic does, too.
Well, the thing I liked about Victor, like with all the other guys, there was a lot of motion, and when you see Victor play, it's like it looks like his right hand's not doing anything at all. So that just, whatever it was about that, just was, I need to learn how to do that. Yeah,
mesmerizing.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I kind of revamped that technique for me, which is what we're supposed to do as players.
Totally
we become influenced by certain people, and we take it and make it work for us.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, so now, how the hell do you do that and then rap at the same time? I mean, like as a bass player, I'm impressed with good bass players, but it's another level when I see a bass player who can play bass and sing at the same time. Something I don't ever do. Oddly enough, I did it last night.
You did, and it was great.
Thank you. But I never ever do that kind of stuff because to play a melodic instrument and then split your brain in half and play another melodic instrument where the rhythms aren't anywhere next to each other. The melodies aren't anything. You're literally doing two different things at once. And for me, one of them's going to suffer. Either the groove's going to suffer or I'm going to start singing wrong words and flat notes. So it's I got to choose one. And I always side with the bass.
Yeah, of course.
I always want to do a better job there.
It happens, man. That's inevitable. Sometimes you might drop a word. Sometimes you might sing a flat note. But the groove is the most important thing, for sure. Right. So hold on to the groove. And I think the bass anchors you with your lyrics. If you use that, if you allow it to anchor you, sometimes when I'm playing that groove in particular, my groove gets stronger. My sense of timing gets stronger because those two elements are working so closely together. And the rhythm of the rhyme and the rhythm of the bass line are interlocking. And they create in essence, a different groove,
Sure. Well, you counterpoint. Yeah, they're playing off of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and practice.
Obviously, that one comes with that.
Of practice.
So this is something that you're very much known for. It's one of the things that when Victor saw you was playing and doing that's it. Okay, so what came first? Was it the emceeing? Was it the bass playing? I mean, when you're coming up with stuff like this, what comes first? The lyrics and the rhyme and all that stuff, or does it start with the groove and then you start hitting it from there? I mean, or do they happen at the same time? I don't know. Like I said, I don't do it.
Yeah, it depends. With that song, with Rebel, for instance, the song Rebel was already written. I had already written these lyrics, and I had another. That was the groove for Rebel, but something about it and I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But something about it wasn't as cool as. So I had this rhyme, and I started working with that technique, and touring with Victor opened my bass playing up and my mind up to all the possibilities. So I was like, how can I incorporate that rhyme into something cool with this bass line? And I just started practicing them. So for me, MCing came first. I was an MC from 12 years old. I didn't pick up the bass guitar until I was in college.
Really?
Yeah, so
wow. And that's what, a couple years before you hit out with Victor?
Yeah, man.
What the hell, man?
Yeah,
Jeez.
about 3 years before I headed out with Victor. Dang. It's kind of crazy.
Wow, shoot. All right, so if someone wants to practice this and to get it down, what do you think the method is? What's the order to be able to play this lick, be able to sing at the same time? Do that kind of stuff? What would you recommend?
Well, I would recommend just breaking down the different elements of the groove. Like, for instance, you want to get this left hand strong. So just practice that with your left hand. And making sure that every note is clean. You aren't getting a lot of ringing, because that's something that I think a lot of bass players have to deal with. We all have to deal with it at some point in our playing, at the beginning of our playing, where other notes are ringing, but we have this mute technique that we start to unconsciously incorporate.
So you don't use a fret a hair tie, a fret wrap, any of that kind of stuff?
No, I don't generally do that. I used to, you know.
Yeah. I've got one that sits at the top,
cool.
but yeah, it rarely gets used.
Yeah. But now I just, but I'm not doing all of the tapping stuff that's gonna cause all that extra ringing anymore. So I don't really use it. I try to mute as much as I can with my left hand. So it's clean. Now you start incorporating these other techniques with your right hand.
Right.
So you know you gotta do the thumb pluck. Without even playing this lick, just thumb pluck.
Yeah, getting those sounds.
Clean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you want to get those sounds super clean. And then you start moving your hand around. So you start getting this feeling that you can move your left hand around while still keeping a clean...
Independently of
yes,
they're not tethered to each other.
Yep,
right.
exactly.
Okay.
Then start doing... Start going, getting that double thumb.
Yeah, I still need to work on that one, yeah.
And I just do it, I do everything chromatically. I just take it. Anthony Wellington.
Yeah.
You know, just,
yeah, I remember that exercise too.
you know what I mean? So just do it on every string, finger per fret, up and down until it sounds really clean. Then start working on the double thumb, the triplet. It's really a quadruplet.
Yeah. Well, and for me, like a good way, like a lot of people that struggle with the double pluck.
The double pluck.
Like for me, I think of it as just like it's one finger. What am I looking? That's the camera. It's just one finger, but like they're offset a little bit. So if you can do this with one finger, we can do it with two.
Yep.
This is just one finger, and they just both come with each other.
Yep.
You know, so if you can do one, you can do two just as easily.
Absolutely.
You know?
Some people do three. Some people can do all four.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
At base camp, I remember meeting a guy because people always ask, like, "Can you play with your pinky?" And like, well, not really. It's too short.
So
doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it with a slap technique, you can bend your fingers like this, and you'll notice all your fingers are in line with each other now. So technically, I mean, yeah, you could do all four of your fingers. That's not for me though.
Not for me either.
Two is good enough. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I like that. So practice the until you got that clean.
Yep.
Now you gotta do thumb up, pop, pop. And slow it down. We always want to play so fast. And just get that super clean. Try to do that on every string. That's hard.
Yeah. Especially like, the first string, that's the easiest one because there's no strings in your way.
Right.
But you start getting into these ones, you have to like bring your fingers in to stay out of the way. Yeah.
Well, then sometimes I'll do the double pluck on the G string and keep this the thump on the D string.
Splitting it off by two. Yeah, one of my favorite exercises. I mean, I don't work on this stuff any. Was it like down, pluck, down, pluck?
Yeah.
And just get that going, yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I need to work on that too. That's a good one. Down, up, pluck, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're playing your 16th notes, yeah.
Yeah. And then try to put it all together. And then do whatever, you know. Just start creating whatever you want. Using those techniques and start coming up with different grooves and, you know, then start the rapping.
and then just do that over. It's a piece of cake,
start
right?
Start putting words together that rhyme and you got it.
She'll teach me how to do that in the next video, but we'll leave it there for now.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
so
that.
Much, yeah.
For sure.
Awesome, yeah. Hey, if you like what I do, please click on the subscribe button right here. And if you really like what I do, then click over here to see how affordable it is to join me at thebasis.net. But if you just want the free stuff, then click here to check out whatever YouTube's sophisticated robots think you should watch next. I'm sure they know what's best for you.